Today in this Planet Zoo video, we're going to be creating a beautifully designed butterfly glass house exhibit. First of all, we're actually going to start with, you probably guessed it, placing the exhibit down. Now, the good thing about these walkthrough exhibits in Planet Zoo is that you can totally customize them by turning everything invisible. We just go on the customize tab and then we can switch everything to none. We can turn down the walls, we can turn off the paths, we can even turn off the doors, but I'm going to keep that PVC door, I think it's called. Yeah, we're going to keep that. We're going to turn everything else off and create a fully customized walkthrough exhibit for butterflies. And what I like to do when creating a walkthrough exhibit like this, because it's rectangular and because I can build on the grid, you can see I've put the concrete slabs down as flooring around the actual exhibit. These are on the same grid as the exhibit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to build a side panel for the glass house. Obviously we're going to use glass and we're going to use the Indonesian wood pieces. We're going to recolor them to a dark grey colour just to give that metal effect, and we're going to start creating that on the grid piece. For this example, in this instance, we're going to be creating this off the grid build on the grid concrete slab, what you can see on the floor, 4x4 meter slab. And once we've done that, it makes life so much easier when duplicating it and advance moving it over. We just only have to build one side. Once we've got one side, because we're going to duplicate it and advance move it on the grid, we've got all the sides of the full exhibit done. So just concentrate as much detail as possible on one side, and then you've got all the sides. You'll see as I do it as well. Building off the grid pieces on the grid is one of the biggest tips I can give you in Planet Zoo, really. And I'm just trying to get this right now because the goal of it as well is to build up. Obviously, we need room for the actual butterflies to fly around and all the exhibit foliage and rocks and stuff to fit in. But we also need to build across and into the center of the exhibit. Now, it's crucial this to get this one side into the center, because when we do duplicate it and advance move it, when we rotate it around to build the other side, it's got to match up in the center. It's got to matchy, fixy. After quite a lot of playing around, I came up with this. This is pretty much done, this one side panel now, and you can see I've moved it into the center at the top like I said I would do. And I'm just adding some more of the Indonesian wood pieces in. I actually don't know why. It just kind of looked good having them come across. Maybe it's like support beams. It's something you would see in like a glass build, so that's what I went with. Sometimes, honestly, I build stuff and I don't know why I'm doing it. It's just because it looks good to me and my eyes. And people seem to like it. People watch my videos, and if you are watching now, then please hit that like button. I would appreciate it very much. And if you are new to my videos, I make all kinds of Planet Zoo content like you're watching now, so hit subscribe if you've not done already. Just building on and adding the trim now. All important, the trim. I've took this back as well a little bit and made it a little bit more higher as well. It was just too low down for me, so I put it at a higher angle, the upper part, the second upper part, just to give it a bit more height. I wanted everything to fit in as well. You can see me. What I'm doing here is what I said I would do just a minute ago, and adding it to the on the grid piece. So all the off the grid pieces, I'm going to add it on the grid piece. I'm just going to add a little trim at the bottom now as well and play about with a couple of ideas here. I like using the plaster pieces a lot in my builds, and I tried to avoid it in this build, in this glass house, but I just couldn't. I couldn't help myself. I just love using the plaster pieces. I don't know what it is. Let me know in the comment section below. Are you the same? Do you use a lot of the plaster pieces out of the construction tab in your builds? It just seems like every build I use, I'm using the plaster pieces. Yeah, and when I actually duplicated it over on a 4x4 meter grid, I realized there's a gap, but this gave me a perfect opportunity. I could have increased the size of the glass, couldn't I? I could have increased the size of the Indonesian pieces and made it one big long piece, but I thought, let's separate it a little bit. Let's have like glass panels mixed in with, like, I don't know what you would call it. I'm using the art shapes to do it, but it kind of maybe looks like plaster or looks like metal. That's what we're going with anyway. That's what it looks like to me, and we're just going to put that in the center, and it just breaks it up a little bit as well, and it adds to the kind of like that modern look. It is quite a modern build, this. I'm going to add elements of traditional brick and stuff like that, which you will see, so look forward to that as well. I love mixing modern elements with traditional elements. It just works really well. It works in all forms of architecture as well as Planet Zoo, also in real life. Just finishing this off now and lining everything up how it should be, and then I could easily just select everything, which was a bit fiddly, actually, it wasn't easy, and then just duplicate it and advance move it. You'll see me just doing that now. I'll always put one to the back just in case I need it. You would have seen me do it then, just one piece on the 4x4 concrete slab. Just put it to the back so you can just duplicate it like you see me do now, and I'll slow this down for you. You'll be able to see it. How easy is that, just duplicating it and moving it and placing it in? As for our walls, we're obviously going to create a custom wall. I want this to be as most detailed as possible, this glass house. Because it's such a little space, we need a lot of detail to make it stand out and make it look good. So I added this brick. I love this brick. I recoloured it. I don't know what colour that is, brown and black. It just looks pretty good and pretty traditional brickwork. And then we're going to add the conservation wood pieces as kind of like a trim and kind of like panelling to the actual wall. And then it was just a matter of, once again, because it's on a grid piece, you guessed it, just duplicating it over, selecting it all and duplicating it over and creating our building, our entrance building to this exhibit. Once that was on, it was time to create a custom roof. And you've probably definitely have guessed it now. What we're going to do, yes, we're going to create an off the grid pieces like you can see me doing here, and on the grid piece, which is this wooden roof. And then we can, once again, easily, you see a theme here, don't you? Easily duplicate it and advance move it. Not advanced movie, sorry, duplicate it on the grid and then put it in. I like to use a little overhang, so overhang the roof 1 meter over the side of the actual walls. And then with the floor, because we're already on the same grid, I wanted the same wood pieces anyway. These stained wood pieces, the colour that they come in is a really good colour when creating stuff like this. So just put the floor in. And then gap covering. We did this with a glass panel down the middle, and we're just going to use the same art shapes, the same colour. I'm just going to fill those gaps in. Then to move on to the other side, and I wanted to create a structure what like towered over the glass. I don't know why, again, sometimes I really don't know how I come up with these ideas, but I do. We're going to carry on with the traditional brick, what I used on the other side, staying with the same theme, but we're going to add more of this stained wood. I just love this stained wood. There's something about mixing, I've already said this Anna, but there's something about mixing traditional building textures with modern building textures, what just works really well. I think it's actually called like the industrial style, like a lot of black metal with like traditional wood and stuff like that. Forgive me if I'm wrong, I actually have a lot of that in my house, so that's probably what gives me inspiration to build stuff like that in Planet Zoo, and it seems to work really well. Painstaking activity now of copying everything over from the other side to this side, and it just wasn't playing ball game, probably because of the fact it's a smaller build, so I couldn't exactly duplicate it for what it was on one side to the other, because it is a smaller structure on this side. I've done it narrower, more narrow, is that the correct terminology, is that the correct wording? I ain't got a clue. Anyway, so custom roofs, totally custom roof, not even on the grid, I had to actually create, and we do end up changing the roof as well, which I'll show you in a minute. We'll create a totally slanted roof, so it kind of vertically goes up instead of horizontally goes across, because if it rained, how would the rain get off this roof? I wanted this build to be not just realistic, not just really nice looking and modern, but also really high detailed and stuff what you would find in real life. So that is what I had in mind, because it is such a small structure. It's a walk for exhibit at the end of the day. How good can you make a walk for exhibit? That is what I wanted to put to the test. How good can I actually make a walk for exhibit? By the way, if you do like this, at the end, you can download it off my Steam Workshop page. The link is in the description down below. If you want this in your own zoos, you can do. And just a question for you all, because I don't know why I'm even asking this, but what do you do while playing Planet Zoo? Do you do anything extra? I'm asking this because I always have to, I've got 2 screens, right? I always have to have something on my other screen while I play. It's just so therapeutic. Normally it's YouTube. While I was building this, I was actually watching a movie. The movie was Heretic, I think it's called, or Heretic. I'm unsure of the name now, I forgot at the time of recording this audio. But yeah, something like that. It's actually quite a good film. Weird film, but good film. Yeah, I always have to be doing something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's my ADD. I just have to be doing like 2 things at once, the most amount of things. Sometimes I'll be watching a movie, playing Planet Zoo, and I'll be on my phone now and again. Honestly, like, how many screens do I need? Are you the same, or are you just focused, like solely focused on Planet Zoo? It'd be interesting to know what my viewers do, really. I come to the end of this actual piece now, and I did keep it quite simple, really, but I added like a trim on the back with the same art shapes in the same colour, and concentrated that on the back and then on the roof of the elevated wood piece. Once again, like I've said, combining the wood pieces, the metal pieces, and, well, they're not metal, the art shapes, aren't they? But they're made to look like metal, you know what I mean, with the brick as well. Doing that throughout to keep the same theming going. And then I like really struggled with filling this gap, so I thought, how the hell am I going to fill it? So I just tried to fill it in loads of different ways. I think I actually change it in the end and just fill it with the art shapes like I did with the other side. Yeah, I did. Look, just fill that gap. Right, we're going to move on to the inside now, and I've already put the butterflies in. I've put 3 species of butterflies in, and I'm going to go on the plant tab. When you put an exhibit animal in, it always puts plants in for you, so I'm just going to make that full. I want it as full as possible. We're going to add our own elements to this as well, though. We're not just going to leave it like that. First, I wanted a path. I could have just put any path down, but I wanted to create a custom path with these like planks. I don't know why. I just thought it looked really well. Do that a lot, don't I? I actually can't explain why I'm doing something. I just do it. I'm going to put them at different levels and different widths and stuff like that, and then just duplicate it over like you see me doing now, just to kind of make it look a little bit more realistic, make it look like some have broken, maybe some are buried into the soil maybe. And then we're going to add a load of foliage. Now we're going to go with a tropical kind of look here, and we're going to add to the foliage it's all the game has already put in for us, just to fill it out a little bit more. And we're going to add some rocks. We're going to keep it quite simple though. We're not going to do anything over the top. We're going to change the terrain to dirt where the plants are. We're going to cut some elements in green, but most of it's going to be dirt and soil down the middle where the path is, so it looks like people have walked on it. Just trying to think how it would look in real life is the key to building anything in Planet Zoo, really. How would this operate in real life? How would it work in real life, is what I always try to keep in mind. We're going to use these 4 rocks. I'm going to recolor them to a more tropical color with the green moss in between as well. And I've blabbed on about 4 rocks since they came out in the aquatic pack, so you probably heard me say so much about them. But yeah, any build in Planet Zoo, I always use 4 rocks, just placing them down sporadically. Well, I don't know what is up with me today, but I'm struggling with my vocabulary. I'm struggling with my English. My English is just not English, and my words aren't just start wording. I don't know what is going on. And I've not even had a drink. I'm sober. I don't know. Maybe I need a drink. Maybe that's the one. Or maybe I just not had enough coffee today. I don't know what it is. But I'm really struggling with this voiceover and getting my words out. Yeah, just placing them in between the rocks. I always do this. Told you, 4 rocks. Get some grass elements down, some little bushes, and place them in between the rocks, poking out. Again, adding to that realism. It looks so good with everything when it's full like that, doesn't it? When those gaps are filled. Just trying to fill this area out, really, is basically what I'm trying to do. I've already told you that, Anna, so I don't know why I'm telling you again. Now I'm talking to myself in third person. Back on the outside of the exhibit now, it's time to create some planters. For me, there was just not enough foliage on the exterior of this exhibit for me. So I wanted to create some planters, and I did this by adding the plaster pieces once again. Obviously, we're using the plaster piece mad me, Anna. And we're going to add the conservation wood piece on the top just to give it a little trim and made like a circular structure. And then you've got a circle like that, you've got a planter. Well, I like to do things a little bit different, so I'm going to just delete some pieces and have a real think how I want things to look. You can see me just lowering it down and thinking, would that look? Would it look good there? It'd look all right there. Can I make it look better? I always say this in Planet Zoo, if something's not right to you and you're not happy with something, change it. Don't leave it, because it will bug you. It will bug me anyway, and I always end up going back to it anyway and changing it. So you might as well do it right there and then. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see how this looks. I'm going to delete this piece and I'm going to put this piece straight here. In fact, I'm going to delete this piece and I'm going to put this piece attached to this piece. That was a lot of pieces in that sentence. And we're just going to create a shape, and it's a shape I've created for planters before, and it works really well. So I went back to my old roots. If you've seen my new Tropic Zoo series, is where I create a modern zoo from scratch, you know, from entrance to last exhibit and all that juicy bits in between. If you've seen that, if you've not seen that, go and see that. It's a good series of videos. But if you have seen it, you will know that I've created this shape before. It's like 2 semicircles, and then they attach the 2 semicircles with this bit. But it wasn't working, and for the life of me, could not figure out why this bit was not attaching to the other bit, because everything was symmetrical, everything was supposed to work, and the game was just not having it. I just don't know what was going on. So get this, right? This is the weird thing. I build it again next to it. I think, well, all right, I'll just build it again. It works. Let me know in the comment section below if you saw what I did wrong first. But when I did, I feel like I did that exactly the same way the second time, and it worked, but the first time it didn't work. I don't know. Anyway, the main thing is we've got our planter in now. Obviously, we're going to get that in place, and then the most important thing about the planter is the actual mulch. You can see we're just building around that as well, making sure it's covered at the bottom with the concrete slabs. Then we're going to add the all-important mulch, and that circle mulch just fits in absolutely perfect. Don't stick out, which is annoying. That happens to me a lot where the mulch sticks out. Trying to get it right pisses me off, but we did it. Then we're going to add some plants. I'm going to add 2 different plants here. I love adding this I think this is out of the aquatic pack as well. It's kind of like tropical palm tree plant. Forgot the actual name of it, but yeah, I love adding it because you can put the branches like it's overhanging the actual planter, and it's really good. And then I'm going to add this as well, which was a bit fiddly, but 2 different sets of plants in there. One's a tree, one's both actually trees, aren't they? And they go in the planter really well. We're going to add some more planters as well. I think we're going to add one here just on the corner, and I think the best thing to do here now is add one here just in this corner. And once again, we're going to add mulch, and we're going to add some foliage to these planters. Hopefully earlier you would have heard me mention that we're going to change the roof, and we're going to add a gutter system just so it looks more realistic. Now the rain can trickle off this slanted roof into the gutter system and down into the gutter, into the vent, right? We took the on the grid stainer pieces and we just deleted them. We'd made off a slanted roof off the grid pieces. We're going to add the trim back in now, what you've already seen me put in, just slightly move it over. Slanted, the rain can now fall off the roof. It looks more realistic, and we get to add more detail with the gutter system at the front of the build. Winner winner, chicken dinner. Back on the inside now. I know we keep going inside outside. There's a song there, inside outside, I'm sure there's a song there. Anyway, on the inside we're going to create a little gate. This is going to give the impression that this gate will be able to be closed when the guests are not in. So we need to make it look like it can open and close. We're going to set it to open. We're going to put some hinge brackets in, and we're going to build it mainly of mesh. The wood pieces at the side are once again the Indonesian wood piece. It's just a really thin piece. It works really well when creating gates like this, and it's going to be quite simple. We've got wood pieces, mesh, and some hinges. I copied it over to the other side and then stuck it on open, so it looks like it's actually a functional gate. Lined it up with the actual door frame, and then just duplicated it and rotated over and popped it on the other side. And once again, this wasn't working for me either, but when I included the door frame and I duplicated it and rotated it over, it did work. Another strange thing what's happened in this video. Yeah, I think it works really well. And by creating that gate, it actually inspired me to create an external door as well. So this door is going to go in both door frames, the exit and the entrance. And I created it using many pieces. It was a bit fiddly because it's such small and it is in 2 parts. We've opened it up so it looks like it's functional, like we did with the gate. And I'm just showing you this trim now. This is actually the light hook, I believe it's called, light hanger, something like that. It's so good for creating small lines or small caps like you can see me doing on the top and the bottom of this door. And with those doors in and with a little bit of added extras, butterfly house is complete. Just a couple of tips here though to add some more realism. Use the fallen leaves and put them around planters. Also put a broom next to them like your zookeepers have attempted to clean the fallen leaves up. There's that door again, brilliant. I added the entrance sign as well. The font is actually off the Steam Workshop page. Don't be scared about using other people's creations. That's why they put them on the Steam Workshop page. These are by Reese's. You've probably heard of them. Reese's fonts, amazing fonts on the Steam Workshop page. This here, water. It's obviously not water. That is moss decal. Recolor it to blue. It looks like spilt water. Goes great around drains. If I just zoom out, you will see I've added plaster pieces. I couldn't help myself, sorry. I put plaster pieces around the rim here. I put like a little curb as well. I just think it makes the whole build stand out more. The butterflies are flying around, but obviously they're flying around, Adam. What do you mean? Of course, butterflies. But you get the point. They're happy in there. They've got everything they need. Everything taken care of. And what a beautiful exhibit this has actually turned out to be, by the way. And what a beautiful shot of it that is. That actually might be the thumbnail right there. Anyway, that is it. Complete. Video over. If you want it, Steam Workshop page. Links are in the description. You know the deal by now. If you don't know the deal, get to know the deal. Sounding like Bevo then. If you know Bevo, big up Bevo. Actually, don't big up Bevo. I don't like Bevo. What? Anyway, you know the rules. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Like the video if you did actually like the video. My name's Adam. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.